الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق الناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره عظيم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق الناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره عظيم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق الناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره عظيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Most merciful Father, our light and salvation, we thank you for the gift of life. Nothing has been so sweet in life than having you as our Lord and Savior. Your amazing grace has been our daily guide. Continue to deliver us from all snares of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. Cover us under your divine canopy. Shield us from all harm and danger. Open our lips to show forth your praise. Guide us on our daily tasks. And may your heavenly blessings be poured out on us as we put our whole trust in you, knowing that you are the Alpha and the Omega. On our side, it shall be well with us today and forevermore. Amen.
Good morning, Mr. Witness. You may kindly take your seat. Mr. Witness, for continuation of your testimony before this Commission of Inquiry into Local Government Councils and related matters, I want to remind you that we are still on the oath before I hand you over to Madam Chair for us to proceed. Thank you. Madam Chair, over to you.
Good morning, Mayor Bensouda. You're welcome back.
Thank you.
Council, you may proceed.
Good morning, Honorable Commissioners, Honorable Secretary, and everyone present. Good morning, Mr. Witness. We will be discussing the issues regarding the employment of certain individuals as sort of Fal, Nordin Adams, and 3 others. But before we proceed, do you have some of the documents you have been asked to bring today?
Yes, I do. Good morning, Ma. Good morning, Commissioners and Lead Counsel. In our last session, we discussed about the grants that the Council has received, and you wanted some of the documents. I have some of the grants with me. The first is the European Union 3 million euro KETP grant. I have the contract document, the grant application. I have the EU audit report in 2023 on the grant. And also I have a letterhead from the grant. That's the first document. The second document I have is the BMZ grant on sustainable waste management to reduce child rights violations at the Bakote dump site. So we have the contract. We also have the University of Essex grant on geolocations. We have the grant document for feasibility study on the Gambia solid waste management of the Bakote dump site and sanitary landfill RFP. We have the grant document on building climate resilience through sustainable biodegradable waste management in the Kanifing municipality. Yes, I believe these are the grant documents.
Thank you very much. We apply to tender the following documents. The first is the grant contract. It's between KMC and Peterborough Council concerning the grant from the EU. And the grant application. We also have a document which is the final report of the expenditure verification of the project, KETP, from January 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2022. We have the BMZ document, that is the content information on the project. The financing of the Fund for the Innovation in Development, the on-granting agreement between University of Essex and Carnifew Municipal Council. We have the document addressed to the Mayor, Talib Ahmed Bensouda of KMC, the subject feasibility study, recommendations, request for proposal, Carnifew Municipal Council, the Gambia Solid Waste Management. We have the final narrative report, the building climate resilience through sustainable biodegradable waste management in KMC. These documents are photocopies, and we apply to have them admitted into evidence and marked as exhibit.
The witness was requested to present documents, and these documents are admitted as follows. The first document is financing of the Fund for Innovation in Development on granting agreement between University of Essex and the Carnifew Municipal Council. Mr. Mayor Bensouda, this agreement seem incomplete.
Which one?
Let me give the registrar this document, and please tell us whether it's the complete document.
It seems the pages are mixed up. Page numbering.
Whilst I check through, and Mayor Bensouda,
Yes, yes, ma'am.
while I read through, can you please remove them and reorganize
Sure.
it? Let me begin taking the documents. The Gambia Solid Waste Management is a document from Midwest Go Group dated the 27th of September 2019. It is addressed to the Mayor Talib Ahmed Bensouda, and it has the subject feasibility study stroke recommendations stroke requests for proposal. It is signed by Christopher J. Jameson, Senior Geological Engineer, and K. Baba, Applied Physics, Space and Environmental Science for the Midwest Go Group, LLC. There is the MASA, that is the European Union and Canifing Municipal Council final report on expenditure verification of the project, Canifing Environmental Transformation Program, KETP, Grant Agreement 2021, with reference number 428-416, from January 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2022. The Granting Authority, European Commission, Local Government Authorities, Partnership for Sustainable Cities 2021. This is Annex 2, that is grant application form, full application. That is, it contains the budget lines, which reference is European Aid 171273 stroke DH stroke ACT stroke multi. A letter dated the 8th of December 2021. It is addressed to Kajali Jane, and the letter emanated from the European Union. It has the subject Canifing Environmental Transformation Program, KETP, using a sustainable focus on new integrated waste management approaches to drive environmental, social, and economic transformation in Canifing. And the reference is CTR 2021-428-416, European Aid, that is 171273/DH/ACT/multi, that is the local authorities. This is Partnerships for Sustainable Cities 2021. And the letter is signed by Corrado Pampalumi, head of delegation. The next document is the grant contract, that is external actions of the European Union. which has reference GM-2010-GQM-2909-561268. And it's 2021 stroke 428-416. The next document is the financing of the Fund for Innovation and Development. That is the on-granting agreement between University of Essex and Canifing Municipal Council. The document is labeled BM2, which is an application form for multi-annual projects. That is the promotion of developmentally important projects by private German executing agencies. That is part 2, which has the content information on the project. And the final document is dated the 27th of April 2021. It's the stroke 27 July 2022 is the final narrative report on the building climate resilience through sustainable biodegradable waste management in Canifing Municipal Council. These documents are admitted in evidence together in a bundle as exhibit, and they are marked as LGC/KMC/TAB/011.
Ask the commission, please. Is that all? Very well. We start with the issue of the hiring of council. We have, from the documents you have presented, the letter from AB & Co. addressed to KMC with respect to the change of lawyer, the 24th of January 2019. Please have a look at this document. It is also in exhibit.
Yes.
Now, 3 names were suggested to the council, correct?
Yeah.
Can you please read out the names of the legal petitioners?
Mrs. Yasin Sengor, Sengor Law Practice, Mr. Moses B. Johnson Richards, Moses B. Johnson Richards and Associates, and MB Ronke Jane Jagana, Semeka Chambers.
All right. Now, Ms. Yasin Sengor had already had affiliation with the council before this.
Yes.
In what capacity?
She was an expert in the Appointments and Establishment Committee.
Okay. Now, she eventually became the lawyer of council from the 3 lists provided, correct?
Yes.
Now, was due process followed in her appointment?
I believe so.
Okay. Now, what is the process that was followed? Can you guide us through the process that was followed?
Yes, so when the recommendation came, there was a discussion at the General Council as to the recommendations. There was varying opinions. I believe one of the opinions was to also look at names outside this list. But the council agreed that the Establishment and Appointment Committee should be the authority to take up the matter. It was brought back, I believe, after 4 months to the council by the Establishment and Appointment Committee. that recommended that Yasin Senghor be the council lawyer, and it was agreed by the General Council.
Okay. Would that be fair? Because Ms. Senghor was also already very familiar with council members already, and in fact, we see that she do normally sit in committee meetings, one of which is the Establishment and Development Committee. Would that be a fair process?
Yes, the establishment believe that because she's familiar with the council problems, council issues, she's better tooled to take up the job. And at the time, I believe what we thought was, because it's a specialized service, we would decide at the council level.
Okay. Now, the other two lawyers, Ibironke of council and Mr. Richards of council as well, were they contacted? Do you know?
I cannot say that with authority.
Okay. I ask this because we do not see any evidence of these two lawyers contacted, and that this would be contrary to the requirements of the GPPA regulations, which talks about request for proposals. Are you familiar with the process to hire consultants, the legal consultants or other consultants in relation to council's expenditure?
I am familiar with RFPs, although I don't deal with it, so not in detail, no.
Okay, so the request for proposal, if you look at the 2018 procurement regulation on page 34, it talks about procedures for procurement of consulting services. Section 94 reads that the regulation subpart 2 present the procedures to be followed in the case of request for proposals. Method provides a competitive process among shortlisted firms that takes into account the quality of the proposal and, when applicable, the cost of the services in the selection of the successful service provider. Says 2, a procuring organization, which KMC is, shall submit a request for proposal for the approval to the authority, that is GPPA, as applicable. Was this done in this situation?
The establishment was doing the process,
right.
So to say what was done and what was not done, I would not be familiar with that.
Okay. 3 says, after the procedures for solicitation of participation, the first stage involves an assessment of quality and technical aspects of proposal. 4, in the second stage, the financial proposals are evaluated. Now it talks about 95, preparation of shortlist. 1, a shortlist of at least 3, but not more than 6 bidders who possess the necessary professional and technical qualifications and competence, financial resources, equipment, and other physical facilities, managerial capability, experience in the procurement project, reputation, and personnel to perform the contract shall be prepared. 2, in order to establish the shortlist, a procuring organization may seek expression of interest by publishing a non-binding notice with the information described in sub-regulation 1 in the local or international media, GPA's website, including in a newspaper of wide circulation or in a relevant trade publication or technical or professional journal. Now, we do not see anywhere that KMC has reached out to at least 3 shortlisted professionals, legal consultants. And so what all we see is that the council had deliberation, as you have said, in relation to who to pick. Would that not be contrary to the GPA Act and regulation in relation to how to appoint or contract a lawyer?
May I see the section you were referring to?
Please turn to 94. Turn to 94.
So I think there's a section on specialized services, although I did not note it. But then again, I believe the establishment committee, the council tasked them. But this was the 3 people that were recommended by the lawyer. If you can go back and make an assessment and come back, I believe in the subsequent general council where this was discussed, I believe it was 4 months later. And as you see in the minutes, I think there was a debate with the councillors whether as to that was the right process or not.
Yes.
But they had insisted that they were given the authority, and this is their recommendation. But the votes were overwhelmingly in favor of their recommendation. But whether they called all 3 lawyers or whether they interviewed all 3 lawyers, I wouldn't know. That would be in their meeting minutes.
Okay. Because the regulation even requires that approval should be sought from the procuring authority, which is GPPA. Do we know whether
I know for sure there was no GPPA
approval?
No.
Right. Thank you very much. We can, unless there are questions on this issue, we can move to other issues.
No question.
Now we go to the appointment of
Oh, that's yours.
yes, the appointment of certain individuals. When you came in as mayor in 2018, Nuruddin Adams was employed as protocol officer. Fatu Aissatou Fall was appointed as public affairs manager. You recall this?
Yes, I do.
Well, you have any prior relationship with these people before
Yes, I do.
their appointment?
Yes.
Can you please guide us through the nature of your relationship with these 2 people?
Aissatou Fall was working for my company as a sales and marketing manager, I believe. And then she was assisting during my campaign. Nuru Adams was part of my team, my campaign team, as my protocol officer assisting me.
Now, you employed a cleaner? Did the council employ a cleaner that you worked with prior?
During that time?
Yes.
I cannot recall.
You can't recall. Now, do you know the process that was followed in the appointment of Ms. Fall and Mr. Dean?
I wouldn't say I know step for step, but when I came into office, there was many people who wanted to work in KMC and work for me from the general public and of course people around me. So I refer them to the establishment or the HR, and they would go ahead with the process.
How did you do this referral? Is it written referral or verbal referral?
Verbal. I would tell them go to the HR or go to the establishment.
Now, appointments are generally supposed to be advertised, correct?
They may be advertised.
Maybe. What would be the circumstance that would suggest that an appointment does not have to necessarily be advertised? Is there any exception to it?
I'm not very familiar with the rules on advertisements, but I know it says maybe they may be advertised.
May be advertised. Now, we have Mr. Dean as protocol officer. He testified here. And we also have the chairman of the establishment committee at the time, I think is Habib. What is Habib Sise? Habib ML Sise. He gave a statement initially. Can we have Mr. Sise's statement? Who said in his statement that he was given a list by the mayor, that's you at the time, to employ those people, and that caused a problem in council. What is your reaction to that?
I think it's incorrect if he says I gave him a list. What happened when I got elected, and it happens every day, thousands of people want to work at KMC, and I interface with them. So I remember 40 people came to my office who were part of course, the campaign, and I referred them to either him or HR, because
Yes.
I am not the right authority for that. But if he says it's a list, that is incorrect.
Now, Habib's statement, let me read. The statement is given on the 31st July 2023, even though when he testified openly, he tried to walk back on some of those statements. I will read his statement, the third paragraph. It reads, on the appointments of Nuruddin Adams, Aisato Fall, Sanjali, Yusufa Salah, and Babakar Jame, I can vividly remember that these appointments were presented to the Establishment and Appointment Committee in a first meeting by the Lord Mayor. That Talib Ahmed Bensouda, I'm reading verbatim. And there was no job advertisement conducted for these positions. I recall that both Nuruddin Adams and Ashatofal were given grades that didn't match their respective qualifications, which I challenged during our committee meetings. However, there was a General Council resolution to appoint Ashatofal on grade 10 and Nuruddin Adams on grade 7.1. That is what he wrote and signed, even though when he testified, he said that you did not instruct him. But this is what he wrote. Now, Salaman Jai, you know Salaman Jai?
Yes, he was the acting CEO.
Yes. Salaman Jai also testified and wrote a statement. They had testimony, and the statement also one and the same. On the third paragraph, it reads, at that juncture, I asked Abib that the agenda of the proposed establishment meeting was he then handed over the paper he was holding to me. When I read the paper, it was a memo from the mayor addressed to him, Habib, as the chairman of the establishment, requesting for the appointment of Isotofal and 5 others. Habib then asked me whether I knew that Isotofal and the driver were coming from the mayor's company. I responded, no. He further asked whether I knew that Babakar Jame, being recommended for the culture and religion manager, was the mayor's uncle and a blood sister, same mother and father to the then rates manager, Miss Adama Jame. I responded, no. Again, he asked whether I knew that the cleaner recommended is the mayor's mother, house help. I said no. Habib was able to link all those identified to the mayor. It seems he did his investigation before coming. He then told me that he was going direct to the mayor's office to confront him on the request. I then advised him not to do so at that moment because he was very angry and things might turn ugly. I further told him since he planned to have a meeting with the establishment committee, he should then wait and share his opinion and findings with the committee. He then just left abruptly. Now, is this correct?
I don't recall it that way.
Okay.
When I won my election, hundreds, if not thousands of people want to work at KMC. They come to my office and say they want to work for KMC. I refer all of them to the HR. Sometimes I refer them to the establishment and committee chairperson. If I had it my way, I would personally ensure that all of those people were employed, but I can't have that power as per the law. But nevertheless, Habib Sise, if you know him, he always demands that things go as per procedure. When I refer people to him, he says they must go through procedure, and he insists and makes sure they always go through procedure. But I had wished that I would have the power to come in and hire who I deemed fit at the time, but I could not. So I refer to either Habib or I refer to Demboja. And if they say that there's a memo, I would like to see that memo if it's with you.
Now, do you attend these establishment and appointment committee meetings?
I don't.
You don't. Let me show you the Establishment and Appointment Committee meeting. The date is 8 June 2018.
It doesn't look legitimate. I don't know.
Why is that?
Because the clerk usually generates the establishment meeting and I don't see the clerk. And I just see a signature. I don't know who's the signature.
Who is the clerk?
Usman Gay.
So it doesn't look legitimate. Okay.
It's not the format we use for meetings. So I have a right as mayor to attend. I'm an ex officio member of all committees, but I do not attend committee meetings. Sometimes I can invite a committee to my office if I want to advise them, but I don't attend committee meetings.
Now, that format seems to be the same format we have received from those who submitted these minutes of meetings. And then just to read first,
Okay, I can read.
Those that were present in the document we have. We will now, of course, please kindly read the names of the individuals that are present in the.
It says Talib Bensouda, Lord Mayor, Habib Sise, Chairman, Lamin K. Jamme, Member, Yasin Senghor, Member, Muduge, Member, Maria Da Costa, Member, Peter Mendy, Member, Salama Jai, Acting CEO, Dembuja, Secretary.
Okay. Now, is it, let me just see the document. You don't think it is, it is legitimate? It's a legitimate document?
No, what I'm saying is I'm not a member of the establishment committee.
Right.
Number two, I do not attend establishment committee meetings. Number three, when I'm setting up a committee, I'm the one who inaugurates the committee and I give advice.
Right.
And number four, when I feel like a committee needs to do something, I can invite them to my office to give them advice.
Right.
But I don't attend committee meetings.
Okay. So this is signed by Habib ML Sise. Says the individuals present are Lord Mayor, Talib Ahmed Bensouda, Habib Sise, Lamin K. Jame, Yasin Senghor, Modu Gay, Maria Da Costa, Peter Mendy, Salaman Jai, CEO, Dembo Jia. And the agenda item number 3 reads that the chairman of the establishment committee tenders a letter of resignation from the former PRO, Fatou Silla, and requested for circumstances leading for her resignation. The CEO replied, as per the government orders or the civil service regulation, she has the right to tender her resignation at any time with due notice. Either she serves notice or pay a month's salary in lieu of notice. The CEO informed, that's 4.0, the chairman of the establishment committee that a request for the aforementioned positions was signed off for approval. The HR expert manager, Mr. Gay, was tasked to provide a detailed job description for the position. KMC HR manager was tasked to present a draft to the HR expert for a review before finally presenting it to the team. For the position of a public relations manager, the team unanimously agreed to leave it on hold until the press officer returned from vacation in the United Kingdom. This was on the 8th of June 2018. But by this time, 8th of June 2018, but by this time, we have already had the position filled on the 7th of June 2018. Let me just show you this document. So whilst there was a meeting to put the position on hold, an appointment letter was already signed by Bensouda, the chief executive, for the chief executive, for the appointment of Aissatou Fall on the 7th of June 2018.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, so going by the establishment and appointment committee meeting, stating that the position of the public relations manager to be put on hold, Ms. Fall was already employed on the 7th. Were you aware of this?
Not during the commission, I heard about it, yes.
Right. Now, the application of Ms. Fall is also dated on the 7th of June 2018. Let me just show you.
Yes.
Now, it appears from the documents we have that the application, which is on the 7th of June 2018, was same date that Ms. Fall was appointed, and the establishment and appointment committee would sit over it the following day. So it is as if the appointment committee was not on the same page with the appointing officer, that is the office of the CEO, which was signed by Bensouda. Is that not an issue?
It is incorrect.
It's incorrect. Now, the position of Aissatou Fall is, can you please read what the position that she was appointed for on the appointment letter?
Public Affairs Manager.
Yes. Public Affairs Manager. What grade is that?
10.1.
Now, Ms. Fall's highest qualification, if I can recall, is, we see here a certificate of, before that, so there's a certificate or a diploma in IT. Would that be an ideal position for the position of a manager in the civil service?
In KMC, I think there's 2 ways of hiring: direct entry and indirect entry.
Yes.
I believe if you have the prerequisite experience,
Right.
Sometimes you are appointed a grade above the qualification and subjected that you seek for the education.
For the education. Is that applicable only in KMC?
I believe in our scheme of service, based on discussions I have had at the General Council,
Right.
Because especially in the case of Aissatou Fall,
Right.
issue came to the General Council and it erupted into a big debate,
Right.
as to whether the qualification matched the experience.
Yes.
And I think the councillors voted that, given the experience and the track record, they would approve that she continue in the position subject to pursuing further education.
But she had never held the position of a manager prior to this. Correct? I think she confirmed this. She had never held the position of a manager prior to this. So the experience would perhaps, if applicable, would perhaps suggest that she had been a manager in institutions and have performed this role for a period of time in a managerial position. Do we have evidence of that?
Well, like I said, I don't know the prerequisite for indirect or direct entry. What I say is that it was debated at the council floor.
Right.
Right during those moments, I can't remember what council meeting, but some councillors raised that the qualification did not match the
Yes.
portfolio,
Yes.
but it was overruled, and it was resolved that because of her experience and track record, she be allowed to continue the position while pursuing further education.
What was her position when she worked for you?
In my recollection, as a marketing and sales manager.
Manager.
In my recollection, but I'm not sure.
Okay. I think her testimony is different with respect to what her position was, but we can always confirm that. May I please have that document? Is it not proper that individuals that are appointed will have the academic qualification to hold the office that they occupy as managers?
It depends. It depends on whether they were taking indirect or direct entry.
Okay. And the indirect entry would be, how would you describe the indirect entry?
So there's council staff that are recommended by the establishment committee, and in their recommendation, they will say, this staff does not match the qualification as per the scheme of service.
Yes.
But because of their track record or because of their experiences, we would recommend that they be hired, I think, through indirect entry. But the schematics they use, the points they use, I'm not too familiar with it.
Can you please avail to us the scheme of service?
I don't have it with me right now. I think I gave it to, what did I give to Madam? I think HR audit. HR audit. Okay, I will try to ask them for the scheme of service.
Please do that. Yes, I think it's exhibited HR audit. Can we please say it? Now, the same as well with Mr. Adams.
Yes.
Mr. Adams too was employed. Yes.
Find out from Mayor Bensouda, you recall that the LGSC, that is the Local Government Service Commission, is mandated under the law to appoint people at a certain grade level.
Yes.
And for this particular employee, she was not appointed by the Local Government Service Commission.
Yes.
So would you agree that that was wrong for the council to have made, or the establishment committee to have made that resolution in the first place?
At the time, there was no Local Government Service Commission. I was the one who even brought it to the attention of the minister. He did not institute Local Government Service Commission until 2019. So within that period, only the councils were doing their hiring. Also, during that period, we did not have access to the scheme of service that was used by the, Public Management Office. But now we know that because it was not gazetted, there was no legal notice. So that's why our council took it upon ourselves to make our own scheme of service. But there was no LGS.
Thank you. You can proceed.
Now, you are aware of conflict of interest in appointments, that appointment of staff should be free from conflict of interest, correct?
Yes.
Good. Now, the idea that the individuals that are mentioned worked for you or had a relationship with you, do you not think that it was just prudent to have their appointments to go the normal and usual way?
I think for them, there was no conflict of interest. I knew them. I know many people who are employed by KMC. The fact is whether I am directly part of the hiring or not. What I would have loved is for the people I wanted, including them, to work. That's the total honesty, to work for KMC. But like I said, the establishment committee insisted that no, it has to go through process, and it did.
Now, the appointment of, example, Nuruddin, he confirmed, he said that I had even taken part in the campaign of the mayor. You think the appointment was a fair process? That there are, of course, hundreds of Gambians who would have be qualified to hold these positions. And the same with the public relations officer or manager. Do you not think there should have been a fair process, advertise these positions so that people can apply and fill these positions?
So thousands of people have campaigned for me. Even more thousands have voted for me. And a lot of them have wanted work at KMC. I've received thousands of applications, but only few. Like there was a case, Maria Maba,
Yes.
Fatmata Mane, they all applied, but they could not get the positions. And there's many, many more. So it's just the lucky few who can make it through the process.
Yes, that is why I said, would it not, since it's a public service, and it is supposed to be an employment open to the public, advertisement, you'll agree with me, it's supposed to be a general rule that people have equal opportunity to apply for these positions, and we have the most qualified to fill our public space because they don't go through elections for these positions.
Yes, so I always advocate for advertisement,
Yes.
but like the general order says, maybe. Sometimes the establishment does headhunting. Sometimes they use referrals. Sometimes they redeploy from within, but that is at their discretion.
So will you say that their appointments were referrals?
The appointment, they applied, yeah. They
Yeah.
applied to the council.
Yes. What I'm saying is since they did not meet the qualifications, it's in fact stated in the HR report, which I'm trying to check. Since they did not meet the qualifications, then it means that they would have been employed in the indirect way or headhunted. So would you qualify their appointment as being individuals that were headhunted for this position?
Not headhunted, but they applied.
They applied.
They applied, and I referred them to the HR or the establishment.
So their appointments were referrals.
They applied and they brought it to my office, so I referred. But I would not say a referral, because a referral would imply that I am the one who took it upon myself to refer them. But like I said, there was about 40, when I first came into office,
Yes.
40 people from my own team, campaign team, came to me and said they are looking for work.
Yes.
And I refer all of them. I say, go to the HR.
Yes. That is why I said that to have these positions to be advertised, you would agree with me, is the best in this circumstance. Because if you have a vacant position to fill in a public space, without a special qualification, the individuals that are appointed do not have special qualifications. In fact, the HR audit specifically outlined the individuals. For instance, if you look at the issue of Nuruddin Adams, the qualification is just certificate in business studies, diploma, result in business studies, and O-level certificate. You can have someone who is more qualified than Nuruddin Adams, certainly, correct?
Can you ask again, sorry? You said?
You can have applicants who, if it is open to advertisement, would have been more qualified than Nuruddin Adams.
Yes, you can, absolutely.
Good. So as a file, the qualification is an attestation of completion of SJSS in St. Joseph Senior Secondary School and a certificate in IT. Certainly for a manager to just have a certificate in IT, that would not be the requisite academic qualification necessary. And it's also flagged by the HR report as well. Correct?
Yes, their matter was discussed and debated in council.
And
their matter was discussed and debated in council.
Yes.
But if I may add,
right.
Usually when you're recruiting, even in the private sector,
right.
You can do headhunting.
Yes.
And of course, you can, just like in contracts, you single source.
Yes.
Sometimes you can get somebody with the right experience,
right.
even without the prerequisite education. That's why we ask them to go back to school at the General Council.
Yes, I agree, 100%. But if you headhunt, it means you're going for the best in a certain position. You have identified that to rule out advertisement would be to know that there is somebody who just stands out. And we know Mr. X is extremely competent, has a proven track record. And there would not be any doubt reasonable enough to question the the experience and the qualifications of the person. So is that not the place and time as to how or why headhunting should be done?
Well, I don't think there's a general rule to it. It says, that's why I say it's at the discretion of the committee. When they do their interviews, they are the ones who will look at their different scoring.
Now, when HR flagged it, was an action done?
Yes, it was discussed at the general. I remember it was a contentious issue. I think you have the minutes where the councillors agreed that, okay, these may not have the right qualifications, but given their experience, we would resolve that they keep their positions and upgrade themselves.
Babu Karjame, is he related to you?
Yes, he's my uncle.
Okay. Now, Adama Jame as well?
Yes, he's my aunt.
Okay. You can't recall whether you have any cleaner with you?
No, I cannot recall.
Can't recall. So, was Babakar Jame employed subsequently?
Initially, yes.
Okay. So, you think it's coincidence that all these three, I'm just say 3 or 4 people, were employed without your influence?
Yes, Adama Jammeh was working in council since 1988.
Not Adama Jammeh.
When you mentioned her, that's why I want to clarify.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yes, Adama Jammeh has been working in KMC since 1988,
right.
When I was 2 years old, and she's been there for the longest. Babukar Jammeh, initially, who was employed by council, I asked him to resign. I think he was there for less than a year. I called him to my office and I said, look, I know you've been employed, but you are my uncle. I would not like you to stay here. So I asked him to resign and I employed him directly through my NGO. So those are the 2 ones.
No, now, Babakar Jammeh, we have Nordin Adams, we have Ms. Fall, I think one other. I think the cleaner, we don't have the name. Now, the question was for these people, would you say that it is just coincidence, the appointments were without your influence?
I wouldn't say it's coincidence. It's 4 people out of 1,200 staff.
Right.
It's 4 people that I would have loved to work in KMC.
Right.
I would have loved to bring many more people as part of my team who I trust and can rely on. But the fact of the matter is I can't. The most I can do is I can refer them to the right authorities, and those authorities can decide or not. But I can tell you for a fact, I am dissatisfied that I could not come in with my team. I would have wished to employ my full office. And one of the issues with change in politics is that you don't want to inherit employees of especially your opponent. So there's a trust issue there. So like I said, the establishment committee chairman was adamant and insisted and had his way to make sure that everything goes through process. But the norm usually in the world of politics is you come in with your team.
Yes, but everything didn't go through the normal process. That's the issue. The committees are answerable to council. They report to council, correct? Yes. Yes. And so council would have to exercise its oversight function over these committees. Is that correct? General council.
The other council exercise oversight function on committees?
Yeah, I said these committees, various committees are creatures of...
report to council.
Yes, exactly. They have to report to council. Yes. And so in reporting to council, council can fact check what they do to see whether it is in line with procedure or not, or regulations or not. Is that not the case?
It's not the case because it is very difficult. Because, you know, council are councillors and they entrust these bodies to act.
Right.
If a councillor, and a single councillor detects that maybe a process was not taken by a committee or a committee did not do a job, then they can report back to the council and say, I object to what this committee does. But if that doesn't happen, council as a body cannot exercise oversight on a committee.
But then they should. It's difficult is one aspect of it.
Yes, so in the practical application, yes, the functions are just, the ability is just not there.
The ability is not there.
And it's not there because, you know, the councils in Gambia, especially the office of the clerk, is not very well equipped. But in other countries, the policy-making arm should have a lot of staff and the ability to detect compliance issues.
Yes. So the idea that the capacity may not be there, or the structures may not be in place to detect is one argument, which may be convincing, but the responsibility is still that of councils to perform that function. It's expected that they would have the oversight function and they would perform that.
It's the first time it's the first time I've ever somebody has ever brought this up, but like I said, the council entrusts these committees
Yes.
to exercise oversight on the administration, but council has never exercised oversight on a committee. A councillor can detect an anomaly, or a staff or a director or even a member of the general public, and report it to the council, but it's not a function and it's not in law. I don't think anybody ever thought of it as far as Gambia is concerned, but it's something to look at, and I think maybe that's one of the things should be looked at.
All right, thank you very much. Now we go to issues of employment.
Yes.
The staff of council, how are they employed? When you came in 2018, what did you find on the ground in relation to who has the power to employ staff of council? I mean, the CEO down.
So when we came, there was a lot of movements made by the interim body. I think they were acting more of an executive than a council. Now, the first thing we were struggling with is no scheme of service. The HR office was not well equipped. So it was how to get started. So we constituted the committee to sort of guide us. And the HR expert suggested we do an HR audit to understand what is in the staff, the square pegs in round holes, etc. Now, at the initial time when I came, the CEO was doing all hiring as far as, I think, daily pays are concerned. This is irregular workers. And the establishment was doing absolutely all hiring, top to bottom. There was no limit. Then at some point, they started coming to the council for approval. And then after the local government service committee, the local government, service committee was instituted in 2019. And they wrote to all councils that hiring should cease. I remember that, I think. And then they made a tour to all the councils to do a familiarization tour. And then right after, they wrote another letter that CEOs may hire up to grade 5.
Yes.
And then subsequently in 2023, I think they reduced the CEO's limit from 5 to 3.
3, yes.
If I remember.
Yes. Now, in 2019 is when we have the Local Government Service Commission being established proper, correct?
Somewhere around there.
Okay. Now, so from that moment on, they would be dealing with all employment of council, correct?
Yes, the establishment would do the work and then they should recommend to the service commission.
Now, we see there were periods beyond 2019 that contracts were given to various individuals.
Yes.
For instance, we have Kan Mustafa Kanye.
Yes.
We have Adama Jammeh. Yes. We have Sehu M. Sabali, and a lot others. Now, I have the contract dated the 1st of October 2022 for Kan Mustafa Kanye. We have 10th February 2022 appointment on a contract for Kan Mustafa Kanye. We have 14th of January 2021 appointment on a contract for Kan Mustafa Kanye. We have Adama Jammeh, 1st of February 2021, 10th of February 2022, 30th of September 2022, 30th of September 2023. We have contract renewals for COM Sabali, 10th of February 2022, 30th of September 2022, February 6, 2019. I will want you to take a look at this.
Yes, you can go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Now, this would happen beyond 2019 when we have the commission, the Local Government Service Commission, to deal with employment matters. Now, what was the process followed in the either extension on contracts or the appointment of employees on contract basis for this period?
Yeah. So these characters, the issue frequently came to the council floor for debate. On the issue of Khan Mustafa Kani, I think I already said how he came to the council. When his initial contract expired, I believe the debate came to the council because everybody found him effective on the ground. He was very good with dealing with the locals in terms of the communities in the markets, dump site, etc. So I think when the councillors realized that, okay, they cannot, the establishment committee recommended that instead of he being hired as a staff, let the CEO offer him a consultancy as opposed to being hired as a staff, because I think he was worried about the same compliance issues you are raising. So as you can see in the various contracts from the initial one, he was employed as a consultant through the office of the CEO. On the issue of Sehu M. Sabali and Adama Jamme, these were mostly from the Directorate of Finance. Our opinion, I remember, as policymakers, no staff should be indispensable, and we must focus on sustainability.
Yes.
But the same request would come year in, year out from the finance director that one, Adama Jammeh had institutional memory from the 80s, which is not something that we were I'm even proud to say, because the metric system and the database should be the memory. But he always spoke about the transfer of properties and not enough paper trail, lost records, and she had that memory. So it was a debate in every general council. For Sabali, again, he would raise the same issues. So most of those recommendations were coming from the Department of Finance. Now, to your answer directly, they were bringing it to the General Council as a contract extension, because I believe, according to them, it did not need the Local Government Service Commission, because these were staff of council already. And according to them, if I remember, they are entitled to 2 years contract extension up to 3 times. I remember that was the debate that was brought there. They said they are entitled to 2 years contract extensions up to 3 times, which is 6 years.
Yes, but the question is, who has the authority to award either contract extensions or award contract employment on contracts during this period?
Yeah, the authority for employment
Yes.
And staff matters above a certain grade is the Local Government Service Commission.
Right.
But like I said, on the issue of these two characters, their argument was that they are already staff, and that was within their authority at the time. So unless you can refer me to the contract section.
Did the council seek for advice for advice in relation to the employment, because there is nowhere that we see that gives either council the powers or the CEO or any CEO the powers to employ people on contract. I think what the CEOs have is that during this period that they can employ people grade 3 and down, which is very specific, very clear. So now,
on that side, on that time, I think it's grade 5 and down.
okay, so grade 5 and down. All of these guys were above grade 5.
Yes.
So if they have this specific instructions or power given to them by the authority that has the power to employ, that is the Service Commission, and they do not have, we see nowhere where they have the power to appoint. That is either the council itself as a general body or the CEO. Do you not think that there should have been legal advice to see whether the CEO has the power to issue contracts or extend contracts?
So all the people who should give advice are on the committee itself.
Right.
That's why we rely on their expertise.
Right.
The CEO also sits there, and they consult with the lawyer frequently. So that's why I said when they come to the council and make a recommendation, it depends who raises the questions, but
Yes.
for the most part, we trust that they have sought the advice of their experts.
Because the appointment on contracts will still fall under employment, correct?
Yes, they all fall under employment.
Which the General Council as a body does not have the power to deal with employments of this grade above, correct?
Yes, it should be referred to the Service Commission.
Service Commission. And the committee, the establishment committee, going by the act itself, is very clear that even issues of appointments, safe to say the limitations that are provided with respect to the grading, that where you even have issues of employment or disciplinary matters, it should be sent to the commission.
Yes, and I can recall once the Minister of Local Government, Musa Drame,
Yes.
inviting me, raising an issue around this. I remember once.
Yes.
And I think the Service Commission has once invited the Establishment Committee. At that time, they used to meet about such matters. And I believe it was resolved, to my belief.
Do you know how it was
Because
resolved?
because usually what the law says is the establishment should refer to the Local Government Service Commission. So they do have a direct relationship.
Yes.
They update the council accordingly.
Yes. I think it's the functions of the Establishment Committee, Section 37 of the Local Government Act 2002, which reads that the Establishment Committee shall, subject to this Act and any other enactment, be responsible for recommending to its Local Government Service Commission the appointment, dismissal, conditions of service and discipline of officers and other employees of its council and any matter connected to therewith, and be such other functions as its council may deem fit. So that going by what we see here, to us here, the investigators, the appointments on contract would not be in line with regulation. What is your opinion? Your answer to that?
So the establishment is their role to ensure that they pass these matters to the Service Commission. But
Yes.
like I said, I don't know what discussions they have had. But the best thing to do is to refer these matters, to recommend to the body, the Service Commission. But I also want to note that the Service Commission has not been functioning for a very long time, just so that you can note that, because many letters are sent are not brought back. And sometimes I even have to find out what is wrong, why they are not, because I think the Service Commission was dissolved twice.
Yes.
The first chairman was former Sisi, and I think he resigned, and then they instituted a new commission. But the relationship was not, there was not much communication.
Do we also know how they are, now that we have discussed the issue of their appointments on contract?
Say it again?
Now that we have discussed the issue on
Yes.
the appointment on contracts, do we also know the remuneration of these individuals. Let's start with Khan Mustafa Kani. The offer of appointment dated the 14th of January 2021. We'll take that as a sample. That is signed by Demboja for the CEO, where it states that you shall be paid a quarterly installment of $80,000. The breakdown is outlined as follows: telephone allowance, $15,000, dump site allowance, $30,000, consultancy fees, $35,000. Do you know, or does the council know how these figures were arrived?
So with the issue of Khan Mustafa Kani, he was not an employee. That's why he was being treated as a
Yes.
consultant. I think they were very hard that it doesn't meet the requirements. His salary, I believe, was brought to the general council, or his
Yes.
consultancy fees, and from the sounds of it, it was working out to something like 27 to 28,000 per month. But it was brought to the general council for debate, if I remember.
Yes, Mr. Mustafa Kani, I had the I examined Mr. Mustafa Kani here. Mr. Mustafa Kani, do we know his qualifications, academic qualifications?
I have never checked his qualifications. I just felt that he was a presidential advisor and was appointed by the president in the interim management. When I came in, what I was looking at was the impact he has had on the ground. That was my concern. But in terms of the technicalities, that was the establishment.
Mr. Mustafa Kani, if we have him referred to as a consultant, what would that be? What kind of consultancy?
So I believe we have used Khan Mustafa Kani in 3 areas.
Right.
I believe one was to regularize the market, which was quite disorderly. A lot of leakage, a lot of poor management. At some point, we found a use for him for recovering very hard to recover debt. And I believe he helped to recover 21 million from NAWEC and a lot of, I think 7 million from another big businessman who I cannot name. But these were bad debts. Then at another point, I believe we have the most notorious dump site in the country, which was burning frequently. And we needed a hardliner because there's so many stakeholders there, from scavengers to neighbors, to people who melt pots, donkey cart drivers. So 300, 400 people make a living from the dump site. So we needed a hardliner. So depending on the management's needs, they discussed with the establishment. And then the establishment was against giving any sort of employment. So it was given a consultancy, through the council.
Now, a consultancy, again, would require that it be approved by GPPA.
I believe all his consultancies were below 500,000 annually.
Annually. Whereas what I mean is it will require that you follow, that's what the law says, that it has to be approved by GPA for requests for proposals. And because if he's classified as a consultant, then the usual process would be request for proposal, which requires that there has to be an approval from GPA.
If it's beyond 500,000?
Yes, because the regulation for consultancy, which I've read earlier, it has its own requirements for each of the methods of procurement: RFQ, RFP, and the others, and open tender. So I think 74 going to 75 says, 94 going to 95. If you read it, it will tell you that 94.2, that a procuring organization shall submit a request for proposal for the approval to the authority as applicable. So the authority has to approve. So if it is marked as a consultant.
If, from my knowledge,
Yeah.
if it's above 500,000, but below 500,000, the CEO has discretion, because there's many instances where the CEO takes consultancies or takes temporary work and pays honorarium at their discretion.
Okay.
But
So
that's
this says
personal.
shall. Says a procuring organization shall submit a request for proposal for the approval to the authority. Now, for this one is very specific, and it will require the usual process that we have a minimum of 3 consultants contacted, and then a request for proposal sent to them, requesting that they send their proposals, which would include the financial and technical proposals that would aid the council first, either through its various committees or by itself, to go through these proposals that are sent, financial, technical, and otherwise academic qualifications, so as to know who the best candidate would be.
Well, I would have to look at the whole law, because I think there's a section on single sourcing and specialized services.
Yes.
But like I said, as far as the council is concerned, below 500,000 is the discretion of the CEO, and above it is between the council and GPPA.
So single sourcing 2 still talks about emergency situations. For instance, it says on page 46, sorry, section 46, if you go by the 2022 Act, Gambia Public Procurement Act, which is this is an exceptional non-competitive procurement method that can only be used under these following conditions, irrespective of the estimated value of the contract. So, A, where due to the exceptional circumstances that the procuring organization could not have foreseen, and that can in no way be attributed to them, the time limits for the competitive procedures cannot be met. The circumstances invoked to justify extreme urgency shall in no way be attributable to any department or staff of the procuring organization, in this case KMC. B, where for technical reason or reasons involving the protection of exclusive rights or proprietary goods, services, the contract can be awarded only to a particular economic operator. Standardization of equipment or spare parts to be compatible with existing equipment, and the list goes on. Or C, for such to be justified, the original equipment shall be, it goes on. So for consultants, the requirement as well would be for minimum of 3 to be sent. But we do not see any, be it as it may, whether it is for through single sourcing or otherwise, we do not see any procurement process followed in this.
Is there any area on specialized service? Sorry, I don't have the GPPA.
The GPPA Act. Please, you can check it. Let me ask my junior to check it.
But at just to summarize the issue,
yes,
it was at the, like I said, discretion of the establishment committee, and decided on the council based on a specialized operation we required at the time.
Yes.
And he was the only man who was equipped based on our understanding.
But Mr. Kanye, my issue with Mr. Kanye is he does not have, number one, the academic qualification. I told him this, but I am repeating to you. He doesn't have the academic qualification. Mr. Kanye doesn't have special skills. No evidence of special skills. I'm not saying whether the issue with respect to him being effective on the ground, that's subjective, based on how KMC or the appointing authority sees it at the time. But if you do not have special skills, that is obvious to anyone who would scrutinize you, like in the case that is happening right now, and you don't have the academic qualifications to do this. You have risen to the ranks of a manager and being paid substantially well. That's the case of Mr. Kanye. Then is it the case that it was either almost impossible or extremely difficult that you can have somebody with the necessary qualifications who will also be as effective or even more than Mr. Kanye?
So I don't know where they found Mr. Kanye, but what I can attest,
right,
he's one of the most operationally effective and proficient characters you can find in this country if you need things done. When he came, we had a similar doubt as to qualifications, etc.
Right.
But then we saw the rationale behind the appointment from the OP. And I guess the council, these issues are always debated at the council floor.
Right.
And there's many councillors like yourself who look at the, the regulations and they look at the requirements. But at the end of the day, what was decided, we cannot hire him directly through the establishment rules. So let the CEO, through his ability to hire consultants, use him. But I believe he has been one of the most effective operators I have seen in this country.
Mr. Kanyi, when we interviewed the various employees, what we got from that is Mr. Kanyi almost felt that he was beyond any form of disciplinary measure or correction. In fact, we were given a letter that he wrote, which I read to him. I believe when Bensouda wrote to him in relation to suspension. And the language, I'm not sure whether you heard about that in the commission, even the language that Mr. Kanyi wrote in response to Bensouda, I think the registrar will check it and then we will show it to you, would suggest that Mr. Kanyi is not only academically well, I wouldn't want to use the word also of my, not to say academically bankrupt, but it doesn't have the academic qualification and the prior experience, the experience in other institutions to do. So would it not have been proper? Number one, you would have saved council money if this position was advertised and we get people that are highly qualified and they are paid within the normal grade, because Mr. Kanyi was paid well above the normal grade, correct? Of a manager. Can I repeat that? I said, would it not be proper to have this position to be advertised and then we have people, Gambians who are qualified enough to hold this position, than just maintaining Mr. Kanyi with no qualification, with no prior experience in other institutions, just by the fact that Mr. Kanyi is deemed to be effective by the council or the committee?
No, he had a prior experience. Like I said, he was a presidential advisor. I think that's the highest office in the land. He was also appointed by the president as an interim manager at the interim management committee. So I believe the track record is there. Now, in terms of what I can tell you, effectiveness on the ground, which education does not necessarily give you. I know 21 million owed by NAWEC, which was outstanding for several years. He was the one who was able to get it. There was another 7 million owed by another businessman that almost went dormant. He was the one who got it. He regulated our markets. Our markets were very tough. We faced a lot of strikes, criminality, break-ins. And at the dump site, I think we know that the dump site burns frequently for 30 years. Kanjura put in systems in place called the red flag system that has now prevented the Bakote dump site from erupting in flames for the past 4 years. So I agree that he may be an unsavory character and that should go through disciplinary measures. And if at all he crosses lines, should be dismissal. In terms of how the procurement of his contract was done, we expect that the right procedures should be taken. But the General Council, like I said, resolved on this issue through sometimes very heated debates, but all usually agree on his effectiveness on the ground.
Do we have his letter of appointments for the positions by the OP?
He should have it. I've seen it before. He should have it.
He was asked to produce it. Even at the level of the investigation, he did not. I keep on asking them whether he has these letters. He did not still provide these letters. But should, in case, I think he will hear what we are saying. So in case he can find it, he can produce it.
I can attest that I have seen it. I did not believe it when he told me.
Yes.
So I asked him for it, and I have seen it with my eyes.
All right. Now, Mr. Kanyi had been given several impressed. See, Mr. Kanyi's issue is very serious because not only Did he benefit from contract extensions, numerous contract extensions, and but also engaging in procurement activities as well? You've talked about the 1 million plus that he had engaged in relation to the procurement of spare parts. No one can see the spare parts of what Mr. Kanye procured. In fact, the machinery that was involved was still not functional after the alleged procurement. I'm not sure whether you've learned about that.
We did.
Yes, and Mr. Kanye could not tell us what he did with the money, and to show also evidence of procurement as well. There has to be evidence of procurement as well. But when you look at this file, in addition to that, you see on the 10th of April 2019, you will see that impress were also given to Mr. Kanye. We see on retired impress of $180,000 is Dembo SN Sane wrote to Mr. Kanye through a memo in which you were copied, and this acting CEO, it says, after a report by Finance Manager 2 concerning the above caption, I hereby write to ask you to retire the sum of $180,000 not later than Monday, the 15th of April 2019, being impress issued to you for food for disaster team. Your cooperation is highly solicited. Now, it was never retired. On 30th of April 2019, Mr. Kanye had a letter that was written to him. It reads, following your unruly behavior towards the acting Deputy Chief Executive Officer at his office today, the 30th of April 2019, in the presence of Director of Services and Ward Councillor for Kololi, Honorable Peter Mendy, I am directed to suspend you from work for 2 weeks without salary with immediate effect. You are to resume for work on 22nd of May 2019. However, you are hereby advised to desist from such practices. Any future reoccurrence will attract a stiffer disciplinary action. Now, Mr. Kanye responded to this. Let me just show you the exhibit LGC/KMC, KMK/KMC 005.
The letter is cut. I don't know if you're aware.
Please come again.
The letter is cut.
Okay, let me see. Yes, that's true. I'm not sure whether we have another copy. Yeah, so this is the one we have, signed by Mr. Mustafa Kanye, and he read it himself. But you're right, it has the last words not clear. But basically, what we read to Mr. Kanye is, or what he read by himself is that, thank you for writing rudely to me without writing for both sides. However, I do not blame you. Even kids are given chance to explain themselves. Whoever directed you to suspend me is rude and stupid and does not know his term of reference. I came to the council through a process, and let the same process will see me exit. The salary bit is not a problem for me. Both of you two greedy lots will not have your way, and as I am here, you will not have your way once more. Truly, you are all cowards, and I hope you remain cowards. I will use your original letter as a toilet paper for my next visit to the toilet. Mr. Kanye's behavior, from the interviews we had, is just unacceptable in an institution like this.
It is.
So I'm not sure whether this issue between Mr. Kanye and the administration was put to your notice, because I see that you copied. I'm not sure.
I'm not copied in this letter.
Okay. But the other disciplinary letters sent to him, you were copied for?
Can I see that one? Is the voucher where they give him the impress there as well?
That's where the impress is.
Sorry, I don't see the impress for the honor, and I just see the demand from the
Mr. Kamara, I
accounts.
help the witness to.
The reason I asked, because in his title of his letter, he's saying so-called retirable impress, as
Yes.
if he did not receive it. So I don't know why he's calling it so-called.
Yeah. So the letter I read or referred to you was the letter from the Director of Administration to Mr. Kan Mustafa Kani, Overseer of Compliance. It says 10th of April 2019 on retired impress. You see that one?
I saw that letter.
Okay.
Now, in his response, he said, in his title, if you look at it, it says so-called retirable impress.
Yes, that is Mr. Kanye's way of writing.
Yeah. So that's why I say it's as if he's giving doubt to the fact that he was given impress. So that's
Yes.
why I said, can I see the voucher?
Yes, we don't have the voucher.
Okay.
We're just examining the
language. Okay.
And also the communications from the CEO, who just wrote to him in relation to impress that he purportedly should have retired.
Right.
And the response from the administration, sorry, from Mr. Kanye to a higher authority
Right.
would not be proper.
It is a terrible letter.
Yes. Any questions? Otherwise, that's all for the first set of issues we have for the witness.
We proceed.
We are done with the witness with respect to the issues that we have for before 1 o'clock.
Mayor, the documents you submitted,
Yes.
which you were asked to produce,
Yes.
I perused through the documents, but for the EU grant, which is the 3 million,
Yes.
there are no annexures there too. We do not see, the bundle of documents doesn't contain the annexures, which is contained in one of the documents, which is the external actions of the European Union. That is the grant contract.
The external actions?
Yes, external actions of the European Union. That is the grant contract. If you look at it, page 3 or 4, I'll give it to you to look at.
Yes.
You have Article 6, which provides for the annexures. It has annexure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And these are the annexures that will give us an understanding of what the budget is, an understanding how it was executed, because we may not have. And if you look at the report, the final report, you will see that we will request that you provide us with a clearer copy, because this one is very fainted.
From the auditor?
Yes, this one which reads the final report, March 2022, 2023, is dated March 20, March 2022-2023. And this is in relation to the grant agreement of 2021. All right. So please provide us with that. That is number one. Number two, on the issue of the partnership for sustainable cities, I don't seem to see the relevant documents that will give us an idea of the way the project was executed, the relevant annexures also.
Sorry, which one is the Partnership for Sustainable Cities? What is the source of funding?
The source of funding is, let me see. I believe is the 537 537,465 euro, and this is also an EU.
Is it the BMZ?
Yes.
The topic say BMZ.
Yes, BMZ.
Okay, it was
BMZ.
Yes.
BMZ, which is Sustainable Waste Management to reduce child rights violation at the backwater dump site.
Yes, the reason because it's implemented by SOS. So
SOS.
we are beneficiaries of the project.
All right.
SOS is the implementer.
And how did you partner with SOS?
So
were you paid? Were funds paid into your account?
No, not to KMC.
Not to KMC.
So we co-authored the project.
Okay.
Because SOS is affected by the backwater dump site. Yeah. So the project is for the backwater dump site. Yeah. So they implemented and we were the beneficiaries.
For these grants that you had, did you have any technical or financial proposal that was submitted prior to the grants being approved?
I would assume so, yes. There's a grant application.
Yes, please.
I think the EU one.
There's only one, but it's not complete.
Okay.
The grant application form is not complete at all.
Okay, so I should find the application.
Yes. So because that will give you a comprehensive understanding of what it is and how the modus operandi in implementing the grant.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
I will
one last thing, let me just quickly check. Yes, and the report, it's very faint.
The audit report.
Yes, the report itself is very faint.
I will try.
And please check whether it's the complete. Is it whether it's complete? Because what I see here, the last page is not numbered, and I cannot read the document. I will just show you, just to confirm that it's not readable, and we cannot ascertain whether the report is actually final. Okay. If you look at the last pages,
okay. In the Excel document, right? Yes. Smudged. The financial report.
Yes. And did you this final reports, were they jointly done by your team?
No, so this is an external auditor.
Yes.
Hired by the European Union.
Okay.
To audit the project team.
Yes.
Yes, so it's not, it's an external auditor.
External.
Yes, so it's called Mazars.
Yes, but did your internal audit do any reconciliation?
No, so the way it works, the EU audits the project.
Okay.
Yes.
And you do not have a hand in auditing it?
No, we cannot.
You cannot.
Yeah, because that's why the EU hires an external. I believe this auditor is from Senegal.
Yes. All right. Let's have the complete document so that we can have
Okay.
a proper understanding of all of this.
So
Thank
I
you.
believe this one is the financial reports that are
Yes.
faded.
Yes. And the other one is the annexures. The annexures are not here.
Okay.
Council, do we go for break? It's almost break. We may rise.
Be the custodian of documents and records of the council and perform such other functions as required by the act or any other enactment. I think it is clear that the mayor cannot be part of the implementation of financial activities of the council, because the same mayor has to sit at the chair of the council and hold that very CEO accountable.
Now, the issue here is that the manual, do you have any other issue with respect to any other provision of this manual?
Say it again.
Do you have any query with respect to any other provision of this manual that you think you should not follow?
Not that has been brought to my attention.
So the one that you have a problem is with respect to the authority for expenditure.
Because that involves involving the mayor in an activity that would
Why would you not want to know what is withdrawn from your accounts?
I know what is going on in the council through my competent council committees.
No, the question is asked. Why would you not want to know what is withdrawn from the accounts of council?
I know what is withdrawn through reports of the finance committee, local government accounts committee.
Why would you not want to know when a CEO is withdrawing monies and the finance director, they are withdrawing monies from the accounts of council?
That is not my role. The day-to-day activities are the responsibility of the CEO. I'm charged to lead the council to hold that CEO accountable.
So when this threshold is recommended and it's required that it has to be followed, you think it is a bad precedent? It's a bad law?
It is a bad law unless otherwise the Local Government Act was reformed. During my first term as mayor in 2018 September, I led 6 other mayors to write a letter to the Ministry of Local Government asking that the Local Government Act be amended and reformed, because it does not make the mayor an executive and makes the CEO an executive.
Yes.
Madam Chair, if you allow, I can read that letter for the benefit of the commission.
May you present it so that we can admit it in evidence and we can discuss it.
Okay.
Yes, if you have the letter there,
yes,
you can present it and we will admit it as an exhibit.
Yes.
And then we will be in a position to discuss it.
Madam Chair, forgive me, but if I'm just appealing one more time, because I think it would benefit the discussion with the lead council going forward. If I just read certain excerpts, we wrote to the Minister of Local Government.
Yes, we are all saying the same thing. If you have the letter and we admit it in evidence, we can discuss the letter, and we will also be able to make the...
That's the one. The letter I'm speaking of is a letter we wrote, signed by 7 mayors, including Rohi Malik Law of Banjul, Malamin Bojang of North Bank, we have Landing Sane of Mansa Konko, and Sirifo Sonko of Birkama, where we, from the time we took up office, we noticed that there was an anomaly with the Local Government Act. Because as per international standards, mayors are executives. And by right, if you are elected to run the affairs of a municipality, you must be able to be held accountable for those responsibilities.
Okay, let me have it admitted first. Let me apply to have it admitted first. We apply to have the letter dated the 17th of September 2018 with the heading Proposed Amendments to the Local Government Act 2 as amended to be admitted into evidence and marked as an exhibit.
A letter dated the 17th of September 2018 with reference LM 131/321/01 in brackets 22. The letter is addressed to all mayoresses/chairpersons, and it has the caption Proposed Amendments to the Local Government Act 2002 as amended. It is signed by Fatou Jiba for Permanent Secretary. It is copied to the Lord Mayoress, Banjul City Council. Let me just say all the relevant councils. And attached to this letter is a letter dated the 8th of September 2018 from all mayors and chairpersons. It is addressed to the Ministry of Lands and Local Government. It has the subject Proposed Amendments to the Local Government Act. And the said letter is signed by all the councils concerned. These two documents are admitted together as exhibit in evidence, and they are marked as LGC/KMC/CAB/002.
As the commission places.
Thank you, Madam.
I believe the witness wants to read paragraph or so from the letter. Is that correct, Mr. Bensouda?
Yes. Thank you, Lead Counsel. Please, your indulgence, 5 minutes. So our letter is dated from all mayors and chairpersons on the 8th September 2018, written to the Ministry of Lands and Local Government. And the title is Proposed Amendments to the Local Government Act. There, Honorable Minister, over the years, the original Local Government Act passed in 2002 was amended numerous times. The purpose of the amendments was to reduce the authority of the councils to ensure that they remained firmly under the control of the executive. The original act was intended to implement the decentralization policy of the government, which was to deconcentrate power from the center by empowering the councils to take charge of the development agenda of the municipalities and regions through strong, capacitated local government structures elected by the people. It is proposed to reverse some of the amendments to ensure that the councils have the authority to govern their municipalities as originally intended, with the authority to make vital decisions. Proposed changes, I will just read 3, Madam. The section 10, which is about the establishment committee, the section states, the original section 10 had only 4 subsections. Subsection 5 and subsection 6 were added to make the councils answerable to the governor in the regions and also subject them to the laws, to the approval of the governor. The following amendment is proposed. Subsection 5, the words "and be answerable to the governor" should be deleted. Subsection 6, the words "unsigned by the governor" should be deleted. Section 54, which also have to be amended in this regard to remove the governor from the process of enacting bylaws of the council. Section 15, functions of the chairperson, mayor, mayoress. The original act provided that the chairperson, mayor, mayoress shall be the political head of the local government area. This was deleted by Act number 8 of 2004. It is proposed that this subsection be restored because, having been elected by universal adult suffrage, the chairperson of the council is the political head of the area. It is also proposed that the functions of the chairperson, mayor, mayoress be rationalized with the functions of the council under Section 48. Section 48 vests executive powers in the council. However, it is not practicable for a body or persons to exercise executive power. It is therefore proposed to amend this section to the effect that executive powers of the council shall be vested in the chairperson, mayor, mayoress, who shall be answerable to the council for the exercise of such powers. This would remove doubts about the authority of the chairperson, mayor, mayoress in relation to the CEO. Both Section 15 and 48 will have to be amended to effect this change. The next critical one for this particular discussion is the clerk of council. The original section provided that the clerk shall be answerable to the chairperson, mayor, mayoress in the performance of his or her functions. This was amended by legal notice number 8 of 2004 to make the clerk answerable to the council. It is proposed that this amendment be reversed to enable the chairperson, mayor, mayoress supervise the work of the clerk, since it is the chairperson who presides over meetings and is responsible for the efficient conduct of council. The last one is on the local government service. The part provides for a local government service commission for each council for the appointment of council staff. The commission is appointed by the minister. It is important that the council is able to take responsibility for all HR matters, including the appointment of its staff, to ensure that it has more autonomy on its operations. It is therefore proposed that the local government commission is decentralized and appointed by each mayor, chairperson, or mayoress in their various localities. The membership of the commission should be independent and qualified citizens. It is also important that the chairperson, mayor, mayoress is able to drive the agenda for the council effectively, so that the chairperson should have greater say on the composition of the management team comprising the chief executive officer, finance directors, and other line directors. It is therefore proposed that the chief executive officer, the finance director, and all other directors are appointed by the chairperson, mayor, mayoress, after consultation with the local government service commission, which is appointed by the mayor. This is consistent with the arrangements at central government level, where the head of state appoints the secretary general and all other heads of institutions after consultation with the public service commission. This is consistent with the arrangements of central government level, where the presidents appoint the secretary general. Oh, sorry, I just said that. So this was a letter that was sent to the Ministry of Local Government 3 months after we were elected into office, signed by Rohi Malik Lo, Talib Bensouda, Sirifo Sonko, Fudi Danjo, Landing Bisane, Malamin Bojang, Ibrahim Asane, and Sehu Jawara of Kuntawar Area Council.
All right.
And should I read the response?